Right, started. So, the league season is back, and the Dons travel to Oxford United. Last time MK Dons got promoted to League One, they played their first game out of two against Oxford United. Well, it was meant to be out of two against Oxford United in a mid-month fixture, and they actually won that game. Considering that the time beforehand, that when one of the two teams had got promoted to League One, it was 0-0. It's just under trend by scoring one more goal each game. That the two sides meet, and one of them is newly promoted. Go from 0-0, 1-0. We're going to win 2-0 tomorrow, or have I jinxed it already? Harry, give us a wave.
Hi, yeah.
He's back, right. Let's jump into the preview. The second time that the Dons face Oxford United. Obviously, they beat us on penalties in the FA Cup, so we need to get revenge. And for United, they saw their relegation to League One sealed after 2 seasons in the second tier. Oxford fans were grateful for Matt Bloomfield helping to steer the ship after looking dead and buried under Gary Rowett. However, Bloomfield's arrival was to prove too little too late, as the U's failed to keep their fate in their own hands and finished 4 points off West Bromwich Albion in 21st place. So, Harry, how did you see the game going?
How do I see the game going? I think it should be sort of evenly matched. I think both teams will want to make a mark with the first game of the season. I feel like Pornwarn sort of wants playoff. Oxford will obviously want automatics, having previously spent 2 seasons in the Championship. So I think, could be evenly matched. And then obviously with Jamie coming in action tomorrow, former MK Dons goalkeeper, I think he'll be one to keep an eye on, because for me, I always tend to keep an eye out on the former players of MK.
I think it's good. It's an interesting point about Jamie coming, because we were apparently linked with him back. I know a lot of Dons fans, but a few Dons fans saying he's one of the better goalkeepers that we've had. I personally, I'll stick my neck on the line here. I think Craig is actually better than Jamie. I wouldn't displace Craig as number one, but I do think Jamie will be motivated to keep a clean sheet against us. I think also would have been the first game back of the season. I think they'll be quite motivated, won't they? It's been a transitional summer, but they'll really want to beat us, I think. They've had a transfer embargo, and I think a few fans are angry with the decision to sack Matt Bloomfield. But I mean, don't just think Aaron Ramsey's going to really want to just start with a win in his league tenure.
Right, I think with Aaron Ramsey, he didn't seem that bad of a manager when he managed Cardiff. So even though it was only for a couple of games, so hopefully see what happens. Because I feel like things like that have happened before. So like Jack Wilshere managed Norwich for 2 games. Now he's quite good at Luton. Or James Morrison managed West Brom, and now he seems quite good at West Brom so far.
He's permanent manager now after 10 game unbeaten run. Yeah, some of these players can be quite motivated. But the thing is, there's always that other thing as well about being a good player doesn't make you the best manager. Obviously, it doesn't make you the worst manager, but it's how are you going to fare. But I think Don needs to be wary of Oxford's motivation. I think the Oxford faithful will surely have a good feeling about the game, won't they? I mean, I mean, it's obviously been a tough summer because they've been, like I said, under the embargo. They lost Will Lancashire, who's been it was quite a key player to them. But I mean, you mentioned something there. You said that Oxford will want automatics. Do you think they can get into the top 2 this season?
I think they'll be up there. I can't exactly remember what I put in my predictions, but yeah, they'll certainly be up there.
Yeah, I did because I did do my League One predictions earlier this week. I believe I did put Oxford in the top six. I think I put them. I definitely didn't put them in automatics. Um, I know I didn't put them in the top six. What am I saying? I put them in eighth. Had to remind myself then.
I'll probably put them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll probably put them playoff because I think Leicester will be quite good this season
yeah.
as well as Luton.
Mm. I think you make a good point. It's going to be a really strong League One. I actually think it's going to be the strongest League One since 2021, 2022 when we nearly got promoted under Liam Manning.
Yeah.
I do remember that season was quite strong. I think Ipswich got 70 points and finished 11th that season. So that shows how strong it really was. I think it's going to be a similar season to that. And I think Oxford can get quite a few points, but I don't think they're going to be able to actually reach the playoffs under their embargo, under their current circumstances. I think they'll be motivated, to be fair. I mean, they lost obviously in the League Cup to Leyton Orient, so it's not been the easiest time. They come in here this game with mixed form, but if Aaron Ramsey can get a tune out of that squad, they're going to be confident to beat anybody. I think, and I
Well,
think, yeah. I just feel like motivation is going to be high, despite their struggles.
Hull City had a transfer embargo, and now we're in the Premier League.
Hmm. Well, I think that's an interesting point. To be fair, I think what that really means is just because you have a transfer embargo doesn't mean you can't go and have a successful season. So maybe we could underestimate Oxford United. Maybe I have well done. But all that really means is Don need to perform with that A-star game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you think about Don's for a moment, we talked a lot about Oxford. Don's come into this, right? Taking the League Cup aside, unbeaten in 6 league games, having won three and drawn three. But conversely, you could also say having won just three out of the last nine. If you include the League Cup game and obviously including the couple of losses and it's spell without a win before Bromley. I mean, it's incredibly harsh considering how long ago this all started. But it does also go to show that there is room for improvement as well. Because I think if you look at the Fleetwood Town game, I hope we don't have too much of a let's say hangover, but also from the Norwich City game, which I don't really think anybody really played too well in. Um, how are we gonna sort of get over that? You think tomorrow? Would you think? How do you see us performing in that? With that respect taken into place.
Well, I think obviously the game against Fleetwood, I think most of the players thought they'd sort of won the league already, so we weren't on their A game. And I think with Norwich, since Clement has come in, it's really turned their ship around, and they looked like they'd be relegated, and now it looks like they could be promoted next season.
I think to be honest, I would agree with that. I mean, I just doing my championship predictions yesterday. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I 100% see Norwich City being in that promotion race. But the thing is, I mean, obviously the Norwich game is done now. They did blow us a bit out of the water. I mean, and also talking about the Fleetwood Town game, I think we were trying too hard maybe to win the league, maybe on reflection. But how do you see the players being able to recover from that in time for securing an important 3 points? Can Paul Vaughan consider the ship? Because if you look at last season, we had two 4 game winning spells, and we didn't always win straight after a loss either. It took time to recover, and I'm just wondering, could that come into play tomorrow? Do you think?
I think obviously now it will with some players, but I think we've got to remember the amount of players who were in sort of like line up against Fleetwood. So Scott Hogan, Lemon High Evans, Tomlinson, Offord, Nemain, Truman, Lecco, they've all gone, and new players have obviously um, come in. So I think with that being said, it won't really affect as much.
Interesting. You know what, that's a fair answer. I mean, obviously not all of those players are playing all the time, But you do make a point about new players as well, because some of them should be motivated. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've obviously said it before. I think Ryan Winter was the only one who could take credit from the Norwich City game. I think he had a respectable game, you could say. But the new signings for me, they still got to prove themselves. With and without Ryan Wintle, either way, and still got to prove themselves in the league. You know, it's all well and good saying I've done so well at a different club, but you also need to do well here. And I'm just thinking, you know, hopefully they won't be too affected. Hello, you still there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, phew. I thought you were going then. But yeah,
All right.
you know, in all seriousness, I'm just thinking, you know, they need to prove themselves as well. I don't think many of them had a great game. I need to see it from them as well. Hopefully, you're right, but they need to show it.
No, yeah. So I was just away checking the Norwich game.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, who do you think's going to start tomorrow? I think Craig has to start in goal, obviously. I think you probably should play Nathaniel Mendes-Lang with Callum Patterson. Do you play Aaron Collins? Do you start Aaron Collins? Do you start Ryan Wintle? Do you start some other signs like Charlie Good, or do you go back with the original back three? You know, like Curtis Nelson, Jack Sanders, and Marvin Ekpateta, who I would say ran through brick walls the whole season. Do you displace any of them? He's got a selection headache on his hand, that Paul Morton, but it's probably one he'd want to have.
Yeah, I think it's obviously going to be a tough decision, but obviously that is good because it shows sort of the squad depth we have in particular positions.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, because obviously we were saying yesterday about who'd replace, which is some of those players you're talking about, but some of the bit part players as well. But I think squad depth is going to be a good thing, because I know we talked about if Craig goes out for 4 or 5 months with an injury. If some of those other players go out with injury for a similar sort of time, then hopefully those other players can come in. Also, you don't want too big of a squad, but it's going to be really interesting seeing who lines up.
Yeah,
I'm really intrigued to see who it is.
yeah. I think Curtis Nelson sort of has to start. I think.
I do like Curtis Nelson. I loved the way he drove the ball forward. It was a bit like, it reminded me of Harry Darling back in the Liam Manning, when he could do something similar and actually score a few more goals. I really like how Curtis Nelson could do that and get the ball forward and up the pitch for our attackers. I think we never really had that since Harry Darling left, and Curtis Nelson will bring that back for me.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm gonna go right more back into the preview now. So yeah, like I say, you know, even though I put them in eighth, the U's, they're going to want to return back to the second tier. And I think the expectations will undoubtedly be high. And I think also they'll be motivated to bounce back after the League Cup defeat to Leyton Orient. I think that was really disappointing for them, considering how they did look at one point that they could survive in the second tier. I think they're going to be really disappointed to see how they've gone down to lose that game. I think. Obviously, I'm not saying it was their first team, but it must be so disappointing. And I think also, you know, when Nobby talked about Norwich City earlier in the video, I think we as fans, we're owed a good performance too. So while the usually be motivated, we need to be motivated to beat Oxford as well. And, you know, again, I talked about how would they recover. Well, I want us to bounce back. You know, a great season ended in a bit of a sad note, given that we couldn't win the league. And, you know, unbeaten their last 6 league games. Oxford come to this haven't had mixed form. You know, they lost 4, they won 2, they drew 3 of their final 9 after winning 3 in a row and looking like they'd stay up. So they're going to want to be able to find some consistency from tomorrow, really, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think they'll do it? Do you think they'll be able to find some consistency tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. I think Oxford United, having them first game of the season will be a good test because obviously MK Dons do want to be in the Championship come a few seasons time. So
Well, even a few seasons, because of Paul Warren's record. But I think also we've always talked about getting back up to the championship. We never really did it. We only came close once after being relegated. Um, but I do think, I mean, it's an interesting point because Paul is trying to get back up there. I would say so, given the caliber of signings that we've got. I've spoken about this before. He's not messing about, and this is a manager who, since becoming one, has achieved 4 promotions to the championship in 5 League One campaigns. He never failed to go up in a full League One campaign. He's going to want to make it 5 from 5, isn't he?
Yeah,
How
but
motivated? Yeah, go on.
I just think it's such a competitive league, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I agree. I think I put Dons in 14th in my League One predictions. Well, I've got them up actually. Yeah, I put Dons in 14th, but Paul's going to be in business, and it's just a question now: is can he continue to motivate squad? Can he continue to get that click out of them to get that extra 10%, as they say, as he's managed to get so many times with Rotherham United and with Derby County as well? He's never taken more than 2 League One seasons, if you like, to get the team promoted. I mean, I would very happily take a mid-table season of consolidation in 14th place, for example, and then go up next season and have a really good season where we can survive and kick on in the championship. Like, to be fair, Derby have done. I would take that right now. It's just I've always kind of been thinking, what is realistically what our aim should be this season, and can we achieve them? I don't really know the answer fully to that, and that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We've all probably got our own views.
So, do you think one day that MK Dons could be pushing for championship playoffs?
Hopefully, but then the thing is, it's all about when can it happen, and we've got to really sort of build up the steps. Because if you think about it, we got relegated 10 years ago under Carl Robinson. The aim was to get back up there, and we've only had 1 season since then where we've been in the League One playoffs. In fact, in the 10 seasons that have followed, 4 have been in League Two, and that
Yeah.
in itself speaks volumes. I remember joking once. I mean, well, I say joking. I don't know what I thought of this. I remember winning the championship. I was like, "Well, my word, the next 10 years would have played in League Two." I don't know why I said that, but it turned out to be true, and it's I could see it happening at the time. I don't know why. Just it's very. I guess fragile could be the right word here. Um, you've got to be careful. I mean, I would honestly rather have a season of mid-table where we could sort of click on and maybe stay in League One for a few more seasons, or push to the Championship soon after, then have a season where we miss out and then face relegation again. It's just that would be better. It's just we need to make sure we can keep hold of a good squad, and only if we can do that, and only if that squad can progress on, only then can I see us really thinking about Championship players. But it's going to be a long time, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm just flip the question back and ask you now.
Yeah. I think because I sort of thought of a question when you said sort of following Derby's footsteps, and I was just thinking now Derby are sort of looking at the sort of the playoffs. I think maybe one day, however, it will be a long time, and I don't think it will be under Paul. I think another thing I was thinking is last season we played a team new to the division, starting with the letter O in Oldham Athletic, first game of the season, which ended 0-0. Would you take a 0-0 tomorrow?
Ooh, I like it. I like that. I didn't even think about that. I would take an order tomorrow if it turns out to be good results for us, to be honest. Like I say, I'm still thinking about what would be the best season for Dons, because do I want to finish too high? And yeah, I have just said that, just thinking about what's happened in the past. Ultimately, also don't want to finish too low. So if a draw helps us with a good season and we can learn some good lessons and kick on from it, then I'd very happily take a 0-0, because I think we could. I think we learned from the Oldham Athletic game. I think we needed that game, to be fair, to build our confidence and sort of like get over our confidence issues after the previous season and then really kick on. So if we could do something like that, I'll take a 0 in the heartbeat. Interesting question. I like the teasers, to be fair. I'm pleased I'm not the only one who can do something like that. What do
Yeah,
you think? Would you take a 0-0?
yeah. I think it will show good defending attributes. I think it will sort of tell us, right, we need to work on our attack, change a few things, maybe bring in a ringer, because I feel like that's what we lack squad depth in. I think it would just sort of set us up for a season.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, if it does that, I'll take a 0-0 all the day long. But in saying that, I also think we should believe in ourselves not to lose as well, because we did draw in the FA Cup. We took the lead. We took them to penalties. Obviously, I can't comment on the performance of that game, but I think if you're going to do that, that says a lot about the performance as well. So let's take confidence from wherever we can. Let's breathe that positivity into it. Let's have a great season, whatever that may look like.
Yeah,
I clicked the wrong thing there. So yeah, I want to talk about Dunge's record against Oxford as well. So we got a mixed record against Oxford United. We've beaten them twice in League One, twice in the EFL Trophy, drawn 4 league and 1 FA Cup meetings against them. Well, if you count that as normal time, obviously I'm talking about the January game here, the FA Cup meeting, but we've also lost 4 times against them as well. Obviously I hope we can make it 5 wins against them this Saturday in all competitions. But it's 13 meetings if my maths is right. It's been a mixed record. See you later. So yeah, it's going to be a case of how we get on against them. Can we make it 5 wins? It's going to be a mixed record either way, but maybe we can breed some confidence, and that's what it's all about. If a draw helps us, we'll take it. If a win helps us, take it. I mean, I guess not that I want us to lose, but sometimes I guess I remember Pep did say, sometimes it's good to lose. Sometimes you maybe do need to lose some games. If one loss, whatever that comes in, helps us to get better as well, we'll take that loss too. It's just what is the best thing we can achieve, and how is the best way we're going to get there. But I really want us to kick off with a positive result, because I don't really want us to lose the first game of the season and go into a bit of a rut, because we did that a couple of times last season after a loss.
yeah,
Just don't want it to happen again.
yeah. I think we're in for a good season. It's just not exactly sure where we will finish, but I highly doubt we will get relegated.
Yeah, that would, to be fair, that's obviously, it kind of goes without saying, but that's the most important thing, because while obviously we want to kick on further, obviously there was a time back in 2023 when we would have all settled for 20th place. So when you sort of respect that as well, so it was like, this was the case once that we were hoping to get there. Now we can do that. Obviously, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
keep things into perspective, but I think we all want to be better than the relegation places
yeah,
of the last season. But we also do have room for improvement, because if whoever would have watched the preview that I did with Jamie, we do need to improve in our crossing as well, because that was sometimes tough to watch last season. So let's hope the signing can help with that.
yeah.
Score predictions. Let's do it. Score predictions.
Score predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll edge it 1-0.
Confident. I like it. Obviously, I said in the beginning, could Sunday there for us to win 2-0. And when I think with my head and not autistic hearts, if you say, I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. Only because I think we're going to have to find our feet, and I think it could be 2 evenly matched sides. I just think overall we can draw this, but hopefully we can kick on from further from this as well. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Let's see where we can go.
Yeah, obviously, I'm a bit biased, hence the 1-0 win. Because I just want us to start good rather than losing a second game in a row.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. I mean, I remember the Liam Manning. It took us like 3 games to find our feet. Obviously, taking the League Cup aside, I think we had 3 league games here. We drew to Bolton in the last minute after having finally taken the lead, and then we lost to Sunderland. But then we seemed to start winning games, and it was like, okay, let's see where we can go from this. I do remember that season.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see onwards and upwards. Right. Anything else you fancy saying?
No, I think you sort of covered everything. Safe travels for those who are going tomorrow, and
Yeah,
hopefully
I'd
we
echo that.
3 points.
Yeah, hopefully so. Like I say, we do. I mean, our wins against Oxford United. One of them did come when we were promoted to League One the previous season. So let's do the same again. Hopefully so. Let's hope. To be fair, thought I came to mind. Let's hope it's a good time to play them. But yeah, onwards and upwards. Let's get a positive result, and let's start the season on a high, and let's go and have another successful season.
Yeah.
But guys, that's it from Harry. That's it from myself as well. Thank you so much for watching. It is really, really appreciated as always. If you've liked what we've had to say, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share the content as well. It does help us a lot. And any Dons fans that fancy coming on, giving your thoughts as well, feel free to get in touch. You'll be more than welcome to. I want to get the Dons community involved. I've bonded with quite a few Dons fans, so always happy to grow that network. And yeah, let's see where we go. But let's hope for an exciting season. Well, yeah, thanks for watching. Up the Dons.
Yeah.
Goodbye.